Hey guys, and welcome to Chelsea Fan TV. My name's Dom. I hope you're having a wonderful week and are looking forward to the weekend. In this video, I'm going to be discussing Mateo Kovacic. What do Chelsea Football Club do with the Croatian midfielder? There's been a lot of talk about him leaving. Some people want him to stay. Some people would be happy for him to go. Now, for me personally, I would want this guy to stay. There's been an interview, I think, with a Croatian magazine while he's been on Nations League duty, where he has said, given the cryptic, we'll see what happens, explaining that last season was a bad season, which we obviously are all aware of, but also hinting that, you know, he still has time on his contract and would be willing to stay. So personally, I would like to see him remain at the club for next season. Now, the reasons being for this, he's 29 years old. We've seen some really high quality performances from Mateo Kovacic. I think he could thrive under Poch. He's that perfect holding midfield pivot player, happy to pick the ball up from the back and drive forward. I don't think there's many other midfielders in the world that have Kovacic's ability to really drive from the back under pressure and then turn that opportunity into an attack for the club. So that's one of the reasons I think he could be a really good foil next to Enzo, allowing Enzo to just push that little bit further forward and be a little bit more attacking. I think Kovacic, given a kind of specific role and a bit of leadership in that holding midfield, could have a really good time under Pochettino. Now, he did have a bad season last season, but so did a majority of the players at the club. So I wouldn't just count that 1 year as that's it, he should be gone now. Personally, I think we should give him more of an opportunity. Now, we do definitely need to be signing a holding midfielder. Talks of Lavia, talks of Declan Rice, Ugarte, obviously Ugarte now most likely going to PSG. Caicedo, do we really want to be paying what is going to be close to 100 million for a guy that is no doubt an incredible footballer, but has only really had a couple of high quality seasons? That's a huge cost, and the Chelsea tax obviously means that the player will be more expensive, and we reek of a little bit of desperation and need to sign. So I would personally keep Kovacic because I think he's a fantastic squad player as well. We do need to sign a central midfielder. I think ideally if we could get a Declan Rice or a Caicedo, but we just don't want to be forking out ridiculous money for these guys. Anything above 100 is it's just crazy, considering what we've paid for Enzo as well. That's going to be a holding midfield of 200 million, which is quite unheard of, to be honest. So for me, I'm going Enzo. I'm bringing in a Lavia or a Declan Rice ideally, but I don't know if Declan Rice is going to come. It would actually maybe be, it sounds crazy to say it, but maybe actually a little bit of a backward step for Declan Rice to come and join Chelsea. He's just taken West Ham to the Conference League, European trophy, and now they're going to be going into Europa League. They're going to be signing some great players over the transfer market as well, looking into next season. So I don't know if it makes a lot of sense for Declan Rice to come to Chelsea next season. As much as I would love him to, I don't think it's going to happen. Lavia is a more obvious option. I don't think Lavia is a Chelsea Premier League starter though. So if we were to have those three, Enzo, Lavia and Mateo Kovacic, we've got three very good midfielders there. I think Kovacic would give us that dynamic ability to rotate and turn defence into attack. He's good on the ball. We've seen some very high quality performances from him in the Champions League. He's a big game player. He just needs a little bit of confidence, and I think he needs the right manager. And I think Pochettino could really bring that out in him. Pochettino's style of intensity and play, I think, could really suit Kovacic. And in terms of wanting to be kind of on the ball and good movement within those kind of midfield areas, bringing in, like a Mason Mount if he's to stay as well, I think that midfield could look really, really fluid. So I'm keeping Kovacic. I think, his wage isn't crazy. If we bring in a Declan Rice, it's going to be such high wages. With N'Golo Kante leaving as well, what we don't want is to lose another person that has a huge amount of experience. Having offloaded Jorginho and with Kante leaving now, we would be very, very, very short on experience. Enzo is obviously one of the best midfielders in the world, but is very young and doesn't have a lot of Premier League experience yet. So losing Kovacic as well, we would be really weak in that area. I think keeping Kovacic as, maybe he's not the starter, but I think on rotation, very good squad player. Just have him in see how he goes with Pochettino for another year, and then we can kind of make more of a formal decision. But I think he's a very, very good player. He was fantastic at Real Madrid. We've seen some really high quality performances from him. And I think under Pochettino, he could thrive in a midfield and a team that's got a little bit more confidence, a little bit more drive and desire. He also does love the club. He loves the fans. He's spoken about this openly in interviews. He does like playing at Stamford Bridge. I don't think his preference would be to leave. But the argument is if we were to get, 30 mil, would you take that? 30 mil would maybe fund another player, but I think personally that Kovacic is too important to lose at this stage, mainly from that experience perspective, but also from his hard work ethic, ability to turn defence into attack in that pivot role. I think he should be staying at Chelsea, personally. But let us know what you think. Opinions, you might think differently to me, but this is what it's all about being a Chelsea fan. We've got a really important transfer market coming up. No matter what happens, the owners have released a statement openly talking about how they want to put so much focus and get Chelsea back to the top where they should be. So we're in for a very exciting year, but we absolutely have to get this transfer market right. If we don't, we could be in for a bit of a horrible season. But if we let go of some of the deadwood in the squad that's been talked about, bring in one or two very clever signings, not just throwing money, but just bringing in players that Pochettino wants that will fit in really nicely with the squad, we could be in for a good year. Focus on the Premier League, the FA Cup. If we can get top 6 and the FA Cup, I would consider that a very successful season. Mateo Kovacic to stay.